Hello and welcome along to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Hussey, and delighted to welcome a new feature on the Horse Racing Podcast. Trainer and Matchbook Ambassador Olly Murphy will be giving us an update on just what's going on in the yard, etc., throughout the season up until the spring festivals. Olly, it's a busy time of year, I guess. At the moment, well, we're leading into the busy time of year. You've obviously had flu jabs and winter breaks, sort of thing. Just talk to us a little bit about that process.
Yes, everyone had a flu jab over the new year, so we tend not to run them then for a fortnight to 3 weeks. So everything's now been jabbed, and we've a yard full of horses ready to rock and roll if the weather's gonna play to our strengths.
Yeah, and then talk to us a little bit then coming up to the spring festivals. How far are you targeting these horses? I guess that this starts in September, October in terms of targeting the big racing festivals, Cheltenham, Aidentree up until Sandown.
Yeah, obviously there's plenty of horses having their final kind of prep runs now in trial races as such to see kind of where you're going to go come March. In a fortnight's time, I think we'll have a good idea of what's going on and what horses are going to get in the handicaps and so forth. So, it's an exciting time of year. Looking forward to giving plenty of horses a run now in the next fortnight to see where we're going to go. See where we're going to go come March.
Okay, and even looking at this weekend, Ollie, you do have a few interesting runners. The first one that jumps out of the page is tomorrow on Friday. Itchy Feet back over hurdles in the Pretemps qualifier. What's the sort of thought process for this? Because you had mentioned that at the start of the season, I think initially.
Yeah, he's a horse who's obviously been very tough to win with for the last couple of years, albeit competing at a high level. So he's come back over hurdles tomorrow, obviously in a Pretemps qualifier. He's in good form. It'll be interesting to see if he regains his spark with a smaller obstacle put in front of him. But the handicap has given him a good chance. He's off 138 back over hurdles. So he's dropped over a stone and a half now in the last 18 months. So fingers crossed he'll have a revival back over the smaller obstacles.
And I guess that's the sort of looking if he does perform well, potentially wins or gets in the top four, there'll be all guns then to Cheltenham. I guess there'll be no reason not to.
Yeah, no, it certainly gives us another option. He actually ran well in Cheltenham over the New Year period. He actually just got in underneath the second last race. He'd have been in place, but hopefully run back over hurdles now with spark a revival.
And then you've another three runners in Huntington. You've what will be in a handicap hurdle, and then you've got two in the Mayor's Bumper. Tell us a little bit about those horses.
Yeah, what will be. He's had an injury and had a couple of ordinary runs since coming back from that injury. He's going to need to improve plenty on what he's shown thus far. I run two nice fillies in the Bumper. Bush Tucker Park is a walk in the park filly. Does it nicely at home, and with a bit of luck she could be placed. And Little Miss Dante is a filly by Cave Tara. She's a filly who's always shown me plenty at home. So looking forward to getting going with her. She's got a good pedigree and hopefully she's going to be a nice mare to go novice herding with next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed for you tomorrow at Huntington. That's Friday for those that want to take note of those horses. Moving on to Saturday's action, and you have some interesting entries once again. I guess the one I want to start with is Go Tante in the handicap hurdle on Saturday at Utoxer. It's one of those horses been off the track for a while, Ollie. So I guess is it a case of see where this horse is at, or has there been a bit of serious work done at home?
Yeah, no, he's done plenty of work, albeit he's had plenty of little niggly issues since he's last been on a racetrack. He's a horse who hopefully still retains plenty of ability. Having his first run in the handicap of hopefully what looks a lenient mark, but whatever he does, he'll improve from experience-wise and sharpness-wise. But he's a horse I've always liked. I've never shied away from that, and hopefully he'll go and run very respectable.
Yeah, very excited to see how he gets on. Another horse that I was interested in is Rambo T. Had a couple of goes in maiden hurdles and seems to be improving his performance each time. Are you hopeful he'll get off the mark on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought both divisions, the maiden hurdle and Saturday now, had two nice chances in there. Both had good runs on their last starts. So trip and track will suit the pair of them, him and Benassi. And listen, I thought whatever beat either of them would probably win the race. They both look to be in the right races.
Yeah, that's Benassi in the 12:45, Rambo T in the 1:27. Moving on to the next couple of horses, then drop him in is in the handicap chase.
Yeah, he's been very disappointing to date. Had an okay run in Lingfield before having a very average run over fence on his last start. I would imagine he'll want to come back into calmer waters before he's seen to his best effect. But yeah, he's been disappointing since he's joined me, to be honest, and he's going to have to show marked improvement to be competitive on Saturday.
Okay, and then the last one is in the other handicap chase, the 342, Smackwater Jack.
Yeah, no, a horse that has had a couple of runs this year. Had a good first run at Chepstow. He was very disappointing at Kelso on his last start. It was bottomless that day. So looking forward to running on slightly better ground at Uttoxeter. He's back down to a really attractive mark, and hopefully a bit of nicer ground will suit him well. And he's an each way chance.
Okay, and then that'll be covering most of the weekend there. I just had a question on Mexican Boy, who's entered the 4-day stage on both Sunday at Fontwell and Monday at Plumpton. Have you any kind of inclinations where you're going yet, or are you just waiting?
I haven't really, to be honest. He's got a load of entries again next week, so we'll just try and find something that he can be competitive in. He had a good first run over fences, and hopefully in that kind of lower type of grade now he could be competitive and well up to winning one of them.
Okay, and then there's a horse I wanted to ask you about, Ollie, and you probably get asked about him a lot, but it is one of your most exciting novices, hurdlers, and Chasing Fire, really impressive winner of bumpers last year. Where's the sort of plan? Because you've had him entered a lot over Christmas, and I think it was Lingfield was a call off, or one of the tracks was called off there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a disaster for him, really, for the simple fact is I need to get another run to him, and there's not a lot of options. Obviously, Haydock was off at the weekend. He'll either go to win Canton on Thursday for a novice hurdle, he's eligible for horses that have won 2 races, or he'll get a Musselburgh for a Supreme Novices Hurdle trial a week on Sunday. So he'll have one more run now, and that'll determine whether we go down the handicap route or whether we'll have a go at running him in a Supreme, and we'll see where we stand after his next start.
And I know the Supreme was the only entry for Chasing Fire. So is it a case that 2 miles soft ground was probably the only realistic chance if he is to go novice hurdling? Because outside Festival of Vega, that could open up that race.
Yeah, no, it could. And listen, we've obviously won 2 ordinary races this far, but albeit he's won very well. Horse we've always thought plenty of at home. So looking forward to stepping up now in his next start. We'll have a good idea of where we're going to go. And if he won well on his next start, I'd imagine we probably will go and have a go in the Supreme and see how we get on.
And maybe a general question heading into the season, with the flu jab season over or coming to an end soon enough, Ollie, are you expecting a busy February, March and April in terms of runners over the next couple of months?
Most definitely. I have a lot of horses still to run. I've had a bit of a stop-start first half of the season for me, numbers-wise. So, a lot of horse to run. Hopefully we're going to have a very busy February, March, and hopefully we'll get a wet April so we can have a bit of second half of the season. So, look forward to the second. Plenty of big festivals, and hopefully we'll be able to hit the bullseye with 1 or 2.
Fingers crossed, Ollie. And one last question: if there is a horse that we haven't mentioned that maybe to keep an eye on for people, more so just to track him throughout the rest of the season up until maybe a Sandown and Aintree or perhaps a Cheltenham, is there any one horse or even a couple of horses that you just want to keep an eye on or have high hopes?
Really looking forward to running Thunder Rock in the Scilly Isles next Saturday. I don't think you saw him to his best effect now in the Dipper at Cheltenham on New Year's Day. He's in very good form, and really looking forward to running him at Sandown next weekend. And something else to look forward to. Brewing Up a Storm's actually just had another wind up. It's very interesting to see if that works. And he may well have a productive second half of the season. So lots of nice bump horse to look forward to. Plenty of young horses still to run. So hopefully we'll unearth a nice one for next season.
Brilliant. Ollie, listen, thanks a million. We'll chat next week. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Dan. Cheers.